West flags significantly outnumbering those of the Ulster flags in the crowd. And listen to that roar. Dave Rennie has a squad in rude health, and many feel he has picked his strongest 23 this season. Up front, Johnny Gray returns, having missed their round 21 win against Edinburgh through illness. Alongside Scott Cummings in the second row, Rob Harley slips back to blindside, and Callum Gibbons comes in to skipper from the open side. Headlines in the backs include the early return of Glasgow Warriors record try scorer DTH van der Merwe on the left wing. Sam Johnson and Kyle Steyn combine once again in the midfield, and Stuart Hogg dons his side's colours at Scotstoun for the final time before he moves to Exeter, determined to sign off this season with silverware. A refereeing team, it's an all-officiating team, all-Irish officiating team, a source of debate in the week. John Lacey is the man in the middle, assisted by Andrew Brace and George Clancy. TMO is Ollie Hodges. It's a sellout. 10,000 are packed in, nerves jangling, but eyes on the prize. And it's going to be Billy Burns to get us underway, kicking off down the middle. And there's an early contest in the air. Jacob Stockdale and Stuart Hogg going for it, but Glasgow winning possession on that occasion. Inside ball to Steyn from Cummings. Here's Kyle Steyn, what a start for Glasgow. Bursting towards the 22. Ball tucked under his left arm. Glasgow have it again as Adam Hastings looks to switch to the blind side. Dummies and goes. He's walloped by Marcel Coetzee though. Working the blind side through Johnny Gray. Industrious and so effective in the last couple of games, albeit he missed that Edinburgh game here 3 weeks ago. Hastings, little show and go. Good clear-out work by Glasgow. Here's Hogg, dancing feet. Good chop tackle. That one, it was Luke Marshall. Cummings again, his inside pass started this play. Glasgow 5 metres inside Ulster's 22. What a start for the home side. But can they come away with anything? 10 phases now. Johnny Gray is second carry in this phase of play. There's Matt Fagerson. Brother Xander on the charge. Inch by inch, Glasgow edge closer. It's direct work. Oof. Big hit on Johnny Gray. That time Ian Henderson was one of the two defenders. Fagerson again. Rory Best having a little nibble in there, but good clear-out work by Callum Gibbons. Fraser Brown this time. The experienced hooker led Glasgow against Edinburgh in that impressive win in round 21. Movement behind the ruck. Here's Hastings, inside ball. First touch for DTH van der Merwe. Good chop tackle by Eric O'Sullivan. Hastings, loopy pass over the top. It's by Tommy Seymour. Tommy Seymour goes for the corner, and Tommy Seymour is in. He punches the air. His fellow teammates crowd around him, and Glasgow Warriors score in their first possession of this game. 2 minutes 30 seconds gone, and it's about time I bring in my co-commentators this evening, Chris Patterson and Paddy Wallace. How good a start for Glasgow?
What a start for Glasgow. Ironically, they lost the kickoff. It was Stockdale who got up and won it, but they reacted quicker. A searing break way back in the opening seconds from Kyle Steyn, and then there's the floated ball over the top from Adam Hastings. And Tommy Seymour is such a good finisher. He gets through Lowry's challenge, but time and time again, Glasgow just maintained possession. Ulster were flying up on the outside, turning the attack inside, and then eventually, when they run out of numbers, Hastings looked for that ball over the top to Tommy Seymour. A former Ulster player scores. It's a perfect start for the home side.
Perfect start, and the worry for Glasgow was the 3-week break. Would they be a bit rusty coming into this game? Certainly no signs of that. Second phase of play, an inside ball for, I think, from Callum Gibbons, just cut Ulster apart. So worrying signs from an Ulster point of view. Defensively cut apart very, very quickly.
So it's Hastings. Oh, he just knew as soon as that came off the boot. It was through the middle from the far right-hand touchline, the exact position that Finn Russell converted the Dietz van der Merwe try last time these two sides met in a semi-final 4 years ago, and it's a dream start for Glasgow.
The start was always going to be really, really important for Ulster. They just have to reset and try and get this possession back. Stockdale's after it again. This is Carbon Copper, the first one, but Hogg comes up with the ball.
And he booms one down off his right foot. The wind seems to have calmed a lot before the game. There was a significant breeze. Big tackle there. I think it was Matt Fagerson in alongside Callum Gibbons. Ulster, first possession. Good hit by Sam Johnson. That time on Jordy Murphy, but the ball's with Stockdale. Murphy again. Cooney looking to set up the box. Dietz van der Merwe dropping back. Hastings in the backfield too. Glasgow with 3 or 4 players in the backfield, but it's Dietz van der Merwe to take that one. Try scorer in both the semi-final and the final when Glasgow last won the title. And that one's going downtown. Michael Lowry, the late replacement for Ulster. Interesting that he touched that one down rather than letting it go dead.
Yeah, signs of a wee bit of inexperience there. The ball looked to be probably going dead. He had probably a few more seconds just to usher that across the dead ball area, and it would have been a scrum back to Ulster deep within the Glasgow half, but electing to touch it down and taking the safe option.
Fantastic phase of defence from Glasgow there. Every contact had the bite, had a big collision in it, and forcing Cooney to kick high, and Glasgow were ready for the box kick.
So it's van der Merwe again. Hastings, Matt Fagerson. How impressive has that young man been this season for the Warriors? Hastings, show and go, but he's hit hard by Murphy and Cooney. Fagerson again. His opposite man, Marcel Coetzee, having a little bite of that ruck, but being told, get his hands off. Hastings with a fend again. Murphy has his eyes on him, tackling that time. Fagerson to Fagerson. Younger brother to older brother. Zander with the carry. Sam Johnson, this time direct. Ooh. Little ball across the front there. Bouncing ball, and try scorer Seymour builds another phase for Glasgow. Something they've really developed this season, the decision-making, understanding when the right time is to force an offload. Seymour again, a little bit of room down the outside. That one's just gone into touch, but another encouraging attack from Glasgow Warriors. And it's Glasgow ball, they've gone quickly. Crossfield kick from Hastings to van der Merwe. Tackle by Ludik, but here's Steyn. 9th consecutive start for Steyn. Good tackle into touch by Luke Marshall, but the opening 7 minutes have just been breathless.
It's exactly what you want from the home side, isn't it? I mean, the balance has been there, they've kicked well, they've chased well. They've done really, really well at retaining possession under some, pretty physical defence on Ulster. Ulster's defence is in a good position. At times it's coming forward on the outside, forcing Glasgow in close to the source, and other times it's sitting back, so it's not quite up to speed yet, but Glasgow retaining and looking after possession really well.
So the line out an area that Ulster pinpointed coming into this. They had to be accurate. That one they've been turned the ball over. Here's Scott Cummings. Big carry by Fraser Brown. Cooney did well to get him down, but it's front foot ball. McCloskey, what a read that is, and tackle on Hastings. Price. Fagerson on the much smaller man Lowry, but Lowry did well. Price looks up, eyeing up his target. This time it's Johnny Gray. A record 43 carries against Leinster a couple of rounds ago. Unbelievable work rate from him. Price again. Here's Batty. Now Glasgow build again. Patience.
On your feet.
Brown, who made the initial impact, carries again. Ali Price looked like he was going to go, but tells his forwards to give him some go forward. Xander Fagerson again. Tackled by his opposite man, Ross Kane. Ball across the front. Here's Johnson. Hastings. Oh, good read by Ludic. It was on a 2-on-1 there. Oh, it's harem scarum pinball stuff there. Looked like it went forward from Dietage van der Merwe.
Yeah, I think Louis Ludic stepped through and probably saved Ulster another 7 points. Intercepting that ball, looked like it was a 2-on-1 on the outside. Louis Ludic with a very good read.
What, it's a cracking tackle from Stuart Hogg as well, that, because Louis Ludic would have been away. Really good read from Ludic to come in and shut the pass off. But I tell you what, Stuart Hogg had to make that tackle 95 metres from his own goal line as well.
But worrying signs, just as you said, it was an area of concern. Last time these two teams played here was the line out, and Ulster losing their first one there, probably overcomplicating it with the call going to the tail, you know, in their own 22, want to secure possession and exit well.
Yeah, that Ulster line-out did malfunction last time they were here at Scotstoun. They lost 7 of their 22 line-outs at 68%, and last week as well, they lost 4 of their 13 a fortnight ago against Connacht, so it's a real area. Johnny Gray had 4 steals when they last met 6 weeks ago, and they put themselves under pressure a little bit in the early exchanges.
This is a big scrum for Ulster. The scrum, although the line-out has creaked this season, the scrum's one of the best at 95%. They do have a strong scrum, but they're playing into this strong blustery wind here, and I think maybe it's worthwhile Ulster trying to retain possession here, get themselves into the game and get out of trouble whilst holding the ball, not kicking it back to Glasgow, who like to counter.
I think James Barry will be really aiming to put a lot of pressure on Ross Kane. I think the reason for Ulster's consistency at scrum time has been Marty Moore, a tight head who's now injured, and Ross Kane's come in the last 2 weeks, and last week did a solid job against Connacht, but this is probably a step up in terms of competitiveness for Ross, and probably an area Glasgow will be focusing on here.
Ross Kane, just his 12th Pro 14 start in 3 seasons. See head-to-head on the near side here, but that one being given against Xander Fagerson, going straight down while up against Eric O'Sullivan. How good an impact has he had this season, Paddy? He's unbelievable.
He has been one of the standout players and probably one of the first names on the team sheet now, and given the fact that he's an academy player, come up the road from Leinster, and shows the depth of talent that Leinster have in their pool, that we were able to get a hold of him, and he's been an ever-present, and his work rate around the pitch, his scrummaging, his ball carrying, all top order.
Ulster Rugby's Young Player of the Year. And Chris, you touched on it there, just Ulster, the importance of them looking after possession. They've won a penalty and now they've won a free kick.
Yeah, it was a binding issue against Xander Fagerson, and then it just takes the sting out of Glasgow's attack. It's good from Ulster.
I asked you the previous line out, don't close the space, okay?
And there's the free kick, the confirmation that Glasgow were closing the space. John Lacey quite happily quite rightly given the free kick to Ulster, and then have another opportunity here. This comes a better position for Ulster. They've got a little bit of a bigger blind side in this short side here, right hand side of the scrum with Louis Ludic here as well. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Kutsia coming down this side with Ludic.
The Ulster backs on the open side, lined up very flat. Pressure coming on from the Warriors pack. It's Kutsia from the base, as you called it, Chris. Left-handed pass there. The Scotstoun crowd felt it was forward, but John Lacey is happy. There's a carry from Kieran Treadwell. Best this time.
Leave.
Cooney finds Eric O'Sullivan.
I'll deal with that.
Burns, Ludic, Tommy Seymour, a good read from Seymour. Turns Michael Lowry over, deemed to have knocked it on in the tackle. Again, the significant Warriors home support making their voices heard, but I think that he got that one right.
Yeah, I think just whenever he was forcing the tackle, the hand came in and just maybe connected with the ball. But you can see, Chris and I were talking to off air there, just how important the coin toss would be today, and I don't know who won it, but Ulster playing against the conditions here, playing against quite a stiff breeze, obviously having to hold on to the ball a wee bit more with the inability to kick into this wind. So you'll see Ulster trying to just hold possession and try and eat up as much of this clock in the first half as possible.
Yeah, they've got that solid scrum to work from, haven't they? Yeah, they've got themselves back into this opening quarter just by having that 3 reasonably good scrums, and they're going to launch here again. Maybe McCluskey up the middle.
Burns, Marshall, short ball to Stockdale, almost in the full-back position, working off his left wing. But the ball taken by Ali Price. There, knocked on though. Ulster have the advantage. I think John Lacey will come back. Ali Price slaps there, knowing
that's
that the opportunity might have been there.
That's a brilliant piece of skill. Really good initial carry from Stockdale in behind, but from that ruck, the clear out from Luke Marshall was so effective. I think Luke Marshall took the defending player away from Glasgow and exposed Cooney at 9. And then look at Ali Price, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's going straight in on the ball, and DTH Van der Merwe couldn't quite get it, but clever play from the scrum half. A bit like you in your day, Rory.
I'm not sure, I think he's a bit better than that. Warriors player of the season, Ali Price. I did like a ruck though, Mossy, you know that.
Paddy,
the jackal.
Keep it with those things.
But just worrying there, as you pointed out, Luke Marshall, the only man from with an Ulster jersey going into that ruck, very slight on the rucks, and Ulster need to throw maybe 1 or 2 more men into those to secure possession.
So this time, Cooney goes left. Here's Burns, Stockdale tucks it under his left arm, gets it offload away. Really nice stuff by Stockdale. He finds Ludick returning from injury tonight as well, from that knee injury. John Cooney saying that ball came off a foot, so Ulster still have possession. Here's Timoney, a try scorer a fortnight ago against Connacht in that semi-final qualifier. Showed incredible athleticism for that score. Burns again, McCluskey, inside ball again to Ludick, but the Glasgow defence holds firm. And there's the glue man, Rob Harley, with an outstanding turnover at ruck time. Once again, Glasgow, we hear so much about their attack, but this time Kenny Murray, the defensive coach, will be delighted with that set.
Yeah, chop tackle from the inside ball, puts the man on the ground very, very quickly, and he's exposed then. Michael Lowry could have been probably penalised for coming in from the side at that ruck. I think Ian Henderson missed his clear out as well. And
you've mentioned it already, Paddy. Ulster are they're thin at their breakdown, aren't they, in terms of numbers? It was almost as if they're looking to set up the next phase rather than really respect possession. You've only got Ian Henderson, he's ineffective, he's clear there. Rob Harley's in a really good position. He's really the only person in. And you need, early on in the game, you want to make sure you can win your possession. If you have to put an extra man in, and you do it.
Yeah, 100%, especially away from home, especially against the wind. Hold on to possession.
So Glasgow, great arrow from Fraser Brown. He hits Matt Fagerson, and the Warriors build them all. There's one stop called by John Lacey. So Ali Price knows that next time he'll need to play it. Fraser Brown in control at the back of the maul. Cooney goes in to try and stop him, but the ball is there for the Warriors. Bursting to the blind side, here's Price. Oh, he's exposed Ian Henderson. And Price scurries down the blind side and is in the left corner. It came about with movement from DTH Van der Merwe late down the left-hand side. And Ali Price is there to expose it.
Well, that space was there all the time from a driving maul. There was no defenders on the short side from Ulster. I'm surprised Glasgow didn't see it earlier, but when they did see it, brilliant play off the ball from DTH Van der Merwe. He shifted from in behind the maul at the last minute left. There he goes. He takes Treadwell away with him, and it leaves a one-on-one with Ali Price, who can target the space between the two defenders. Really astute, clever decision-making in attack, and Henderson just can't get across to make the tackle.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ludick was involved
It's probably down to me with stability goes.
He was obviously in field. Treadwell was the last defender, which you don't want your second row being the last defender, and that late movement, as you say, from DTH Van der Merwe coming on down the blind side, stressing that Ulster defence, and Price able to get over. Great fend and score. Worrying signs for Ulster.
Well, usually you have, even if your winger's defending in the midfield, after the initial possession set up, whether it be the maul or it was a ruck, you would then revert back to that edge, that right-hand side, but it was just never filled. And to be fair to Treadwell and Henderson, they identified it, got there, but it's just a difficult position for these guys to be defending in.
Adam Hastings, that right boot has a radar on it, all right. 2 from 2 tonight. He came into this game 84% with his goal kicking, and here's a replay again of the Ali Price finish.
It's brilliant to see how effective working off the ball can be, isn't it? Like, unselfish, DTH Van der Merwe. He actually made a lot of noise as well to take the defender away. Good play. And a great start from Glasgow's point of view.
It's what Glasgow are very, very good at, playing what's in front of them, not playing, you know, painting by numbers, going through phases for the sake of it. It's looking up, seeing what the defence is offering, and trying to expose that whatever way they can. They're so effective at it.
So Glasgow with the wind at their backs again, exit cleanly. Price looks up, finds space in behind, but that one pops up to Burns. Looks to counter. Both he and Lowry going into the same hole. Here's Marcel Coetzee. First real carry we've spoken about from him. Here's Lowry. Dangerous footwork, little man, but my goodness, he can find space. Here's a bigger man, Ian Henderson. Tackled, bounces back to his feet. Secondary effort from Henderson. Burns again. Encouraging attack for Ulster. Here's McCloskey. Outstanding season for McCloskey. Coetzee again. Good chop tackle by Harley, but advantage being played. Xander Fagerson deemed to have not rolled away quickly enough. What will Ulster do with the advantage they're being given here? Penalty advantage as well. That one there. Cooney looked up and knocked it on at the base, but he knew it was penalty advantage.
Much better from Ulster, and it's it. The individuals we spoke about pre-match. It was Henderson first with a big carry, and then the secondary carry really got back to his feet. Then Coetzee running really hard. It's a good tackle by Rob Harley, but it didn't roll away quick enough. So 2 big players for Ulster stepping up, trying to get their team back into it.
And I don't think he can emphasise enough how important Ian Henderson is. That is his first carry. We're 20 minutes into this game already, and he is so important to how Ulster will go tonight. He needs to be involved. He needs a huge amount of carries and huge amount of inputs into this game.
So Ulster into Glasgow's 22 for the first time this evening. You saw the possession and territory stats. Glasgow with the wind at their backs, but very good in possession so far this evening. They've had over 80% territory and over 60% possession. Can Ulster make this first visit to the 22 count? Treadwell takes it right at the top of his jump. A great throw by Rory Best. Advantage played again. Side entry. Ian Henderson, physical in and around the breakdown. There's a man that is the definition of physical. Coetzee. Fraser Brown does well, but it's quick ball again. McCloskey tackled well, but gets the offload away. Tenacious defence from the Warriors. McCloskey again. Cooney. Timoney. Best with a pick and go. Ulster within 3 metres of the Warriors line. McCloskey. Leg drive, but hit hard by Fagerson. It's good ball again, though, for Ulster. Rory Best pushes John Cooney out the way and says, "This is mine." Best goes. Treadwell, the line speed from Glasgow. Fraser Brown going high on that shot. Another advantage, though. 3rd penalty advantage for Ulster. Can they make it count? Best with a carry. Coetzee.
Still advantage.
Cooney to Murphy. Advantage still being played. And that time Fraser Brown was on the ball. John Lacey comes back for the line out 5 metres out. That one being given against Johnny Gray.
That's much better from Ulster, isn't it? A really good line out drive initially, and they sheared off to get in behind.
Two penalties, lads, one over there and one here, so it's your choice. That's close to the touchline.
Yeah, you get the option, because it's 2 penalties, you get the option to which one you want to take. Interesting that the initial view from Burns is which is closer to the touchline.
Didn't even look at the posts as an option, and I think that shows you how much respect they give this Glasgow side. They know they're not going to beat them with penalties. They know they need tries, and it'll be a big fillet for Ulster to get a try in this first half against the wind.
It's a good response to going 14 points down, though, isn't it? The big players stepping up, retaining possession, getting so close. Some big collisions from the Glasgow defenders as well. This is a big line out.
Oh, it's a messy one. It's come free, and Van der Merwe sticks it on his right boot with advantage being played. Advantage is over, and here's Ludic. Ulster 45 metres now from the Glasgow Warriors line.
Okay, leave it now.
Scrappy line out.
Use it.
Looked like it was miscommunicated. It was a movement issue rather than the throw, I think. Here's Cooney. Glasgow's defence forcing Ulster back inside their own half. Here's McCloskey. Tackled by Hastings. Turnover by Fagerson. And the penalty goes Glasgow's way. And you see the sheer delight from Kyle Steyn and Ali Price, understanding the importance of that set.
Well, it was a line-out throw from Best, just didn't go to hand, and then DTH Van der Merwe thumped it down the field, and the man who made the tackle is the man you pictured who actually won the penalty as well. That man, Matt Fagerson, he made the tackle on Lowry and got back to his feet, and then 2 or 3 phases later, he wins the turnover as well. Big impact there from the young number 8.
Disappointing now. It's twice now from Ulster that either the call or the jump is wrong, but the timing is all off. The ball's going in. Nobody's near us. Henderson dummies to the back. There isn't even a jumper up there.
No, that's a miscommunication, isn't it? And this is a penalty.
Guys,
but you could see one from the clearing kick. The intent in that Glasgow chase to put Ulster under pressure and on the back foot straight away led to that penalty.
Big moments in big games, and Glasgow's defence there. Could this be one? They now have the line out, and they go to the maul again, backing this improved physicality and power that Dave Rennie's spoken about within his squad. Oh, that was a little bit of a hospital pass. Ali Price will not get many thanks from Adam Hastings for that one.
I hope Luke Marshall's okay. I read it. There's just a slight delay, Paddy, on the pass there from Ali Price, and Luke Marshall can get up on the outside of Adam Hastings and hit him man and ball. Maybe just winded. Hope he's okay.
That was a good read there from Luke Marshall, and I think Jared Payne gives his centres, gives Darren Cave, gives Luke Marshall the freedom to make those reads. If they feel that front line ball isn't on, feel free to go out and try and hit man and ball, and he did it a few times effectively last week against Connacht. Continuing again, but I think he's knocked the wind out of himself in the process.
It's a fine detail, but if you have another look at it, he actually makes contact just on the outside shoulder of Adam Hastings. As Gregor Townsend looks on, Danny Wilson, Scotland assistant coach, next to the Scotland head coach Gregor Townsend, who obviously knows this place so well with his time in charge. But that tackle from Luke Marshall was actually on the outside shoulder of Adam Hastings, which is it's a really clever play. It's only a fine detail, but if you're on the outside of that defender, even if Hastings did get that ball away, it's going to have to pass through your body as well. If you fly up on the inside shoulder, you can be vulnerable, but good experienced defence from number 13.
And it's a sign of the quality of Luke Marshall. This is only his 4th game back as we see the tries again, but 10 months out with an ACL injury, back in the mix for Ulster, and he's barely missed a beat. Here's the second try though.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the last 2 players you want defending a blind side against a scrum half and a winger, or your 2 second rows, and as Chris said, Louis Ludic probably needs to get back round to this to the short side a bit quicker and not expose his second rows like that.
Guys, there's a 2 of you that time. Wait for the ball to come in. Okay?
Same again.
Keep the stability, please, okay? Thanks.
The Ulster, all the Ulster backline are so flat here. It doesn't look like there's a kicking option. It looks like they're going to play out into the wind. A centre field scrum's a good place to attack from. You can obviously go either side.
Crouch!
4 Ulster attackers to the right, 2 to the left.
Bind!
See which way.
Stockdale off to the left here. He's got.
We'll never know.
3 backs in commentary here. I don't want to comment.
I think John Lacey. Oh, here's.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just if everyone keeps their balance, we'll have good scrums, you know.
It's a balance issue, and there was no hesitation as soon as the penalty was given. Glasgow opted to attempt to kick a goal. There's Eric O'Sullivan. There was a man who was penalised. I think it's sometimes. Say it's good if a referee's assertive early on. If the scrums are going to be a little bit messy.
We got that one, but I'm coming back over now. I want to see good pictures, okay?
As long as it's consistent throughout the evening, I think an assertive penalty early on sometimes does help the game long term.
Something within the directives as well that Greg Garner's very keen to push through. Adam Hastings, his easiest kick of the evening so far, and he makes no mistake. Glasgow extend their lead to 17 points to 0. Hastings is 3 from 3 off the tee, and Paddy, this is concerning for Ulster, albeit earlier on in the season they've shown the grit and determination and ability to come back against oppositions with big deficits, but perhaps not against a side of the quality of Glasgow.
No, Glasgow have started the game brilliantly well, and whenever Ulster did have an opportunity to strike back and put points on the board, you know, their line-out failed them again, and that'll be the worrying sign for Ulster, that when they're getting opportunities, they need to take those. They need to give themselves every opportunity, and they're not doing it because their line-out just isn't functioning at the moment.
Yeah. Rob Harley, I think being penalised for obstruction there.
Time, so
running across the front of Jacob Stockdale.
Sorry, we have the shot at goal here, and you're in the kicker's way.
And
Sorry?
you just think back to the last penalty and whether they should maybe have chipped over or attempted the 3 points. Ulster this time, Cooney has decided to do it. Fraser Brown's looking for clarification from John Lacey, but Stockdale's a threat from that kickoff. That's 3 that is pretty close. We're looking at him. Well, the referee said that number 6 there, Rob Harley, changed his line to get in the way of Stockdale. I'm not sure he did.
Is Rob Harley being that close to the catcher just an obvious?
Well, I think he's certainly not making any attempt to get out of the way, but the laws don't need you to. If you move, you know, towards the ball or change your line in order to block an attacker, that's a penalty. But it looks as if he's just standing his line there.
Yeah, it looks very harsh to me. I don't think he was, you know, overly zealous in moving into the way of Stockdale there. He had his back turned the whole time, and that's probably what your coach does, you know, to shepherd those oncoming chasers.
They are brilliant kickoffs from Billy Burns, though, and here's the opportunity for John Cooney to open the Ulster account, and he makes no mistake with that one. Pure strike through the middle of the sticks, and Ulster have their first score of the evening. Still that 14-point deficit, and for anybody watching on at home, this wind is not insignificant.
Well, that was a good kick by John Cooney. You could see, I think it was McCluskey having to hold possession. It was straight down the teeth of the wind there. His first kick of the evening from 35 metres out. It looks simple, but it was well executed.
So the Warriors on the counter this time. Stuart Hogg just losing his footing there as he eyed up Marcel Coetzee. Here's Ali Price using that blindside once again. He's been so lively this season. Brilliant reaction to a poor season by his standards last year. Worked really hard. Price again. Hastings, Johnny Gray, a little bit of footwork before contact, but he's tackled well by Kieran Treadwell. Hastings again. Stuart Hogg met by 2 of the 3 back rowers in Murphy and Timoney. Warriors look to open it up. Here's Kyle Steyn. Good decision-making from Stain, something that he's built this impressive 9-game run on. But that tackle...
Stop.
Yeah.
Looks like Eric O'Sullivan's gone down in that collision with Matt Fagerson.
Yeah, good refereeing by John Lacey. Thank you.
Yeah, knock on, yeah.
Identified it was a head knock, a potential head knock, just as Eric O'Sullivan was trying to make that tackle and blew up right away.
So, yeah. Well, Ollie's always looking. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Glasgow, I think they've been forced to attack quite close to the breakdown because of when Ulster's defence is in a good position. It's coming up quickly on the outside, obviously trying to shut off the supply to that man, Stuart Hogg and DTH van der Merwe, Tommy Seymour out wide. We've seen Adam Hastings carry quite a few occasions already as a result of that defence coming up on the outside.
The problem is we've done 10 metres that way to make the block.
Line the ball though, I need to get into that rock.
Well, then you need to get more closer because you're running and not competing for the ball. So that's my view. So
can I then say I shot more on the post? I'll just head
if you come 10 metres that way and you don't compete for the ball and you're in front of your own man, you're changing your line for me.
I'll start right in front of the post and I'll just head straight
Yes,
backwards.
that's that. No problem with that. No problem with that. Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're really good.
There to get the reflection off them, like I did at the first
Okay.
kickoff. So
Yep.
you're happy with that?
Yeah. I'm all good. And we checked that for you as well, and that's all good. Yeah. Okay, we have a HIA, boys, please. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
So it looks like Eric O'Sullivan's evening is done. A shame for the young man. He will go inside for a head injury assessment, and Andy Warwick replaces him for his 99th Pro 14 appearance. 25 appearances from Andrew Warwick this season. So experience off the bench.
Keep the weight.
How important are these next 8 minutes for Ulster, Paddy?
They're massively important. They need to get to half-time within 2 scores, I think, against this Glasgow team. As you mentioned, the elements are quite blustery out here. There could be a few points in this wind, and Ulster can't put themselves more than 2 scores behind here.
McCloskey direct from that scrum. Key man for Ulster's go forward, tackled well by Hastings on that occasion, but here's Marcel Coetzee, met by Johnny Gray, who does really well. Ross Kane on the carry this time. Burns goes to the skies, and that one's straight up in the air. It's been caught by the wind. Both sides flapping around, trying to get a hold of that ball. Interesting to see what George Clancy deems on this side. There we go, came off Ulster head.
Yeah, Billy Burns is frustrated there because it's a tough kick really when you're playing into this wind. I think he'll be looking for the players around about him to get into position, get reset quicker, so you've got more options. He seemed a little bit isolated there and had to go to there. There's not a lot happening outside him. I think Luke Marshall's ahead of him, McCluskey as well.
Matt Fagerson off the top. Here's DTH van der Merwe, the Warriors' record try scorer. Not only that, he needs one more to equal Tim Visser's position as second top try scorer in Pro 14 history. Tim Visser, who I see announced his retirement from rugby this afternoon. Fantastic career. Price again, Hastings, Sam Johnson, ball over the top. Here's Hogg. There's space on the outside. Van der Merwe. Jordy Murphy does well to force him inside. Burns brings him down. Brown again with the carry. Luke Marshall, the defender, but it's advantage being played for the Warriors. They look to go to the outside. Hastings holds it up. Johnson. Sam Johnson with the fend. Ducking under Ian Henderson.
Still advantage.
Still advantage being played. Price shapes for the kick over the top, but hits his captain, Callum Gibbons. Again, the advantage not coming. Glasgow Warriors ruthless in possession.
Clean out,
And they have the
clean out.
opportunity. Post or corner here.
Roll away.
Well, I think you would go post with that win behind. But it looks like Stuart Hogg's going to grab the ball and go to the line out. Really good defence actually for Jordan Murphy there, because I thought DTH Van der Merwe was going to be put in space by Stuart Hogg, but the number 7 got back, Paddy. Good defence.
Well, as Chris said earlier on, the Ulster putting a lot of pressure on those first few carriers for Ulster, for Glasgow, but Hastings able to find the outside space because they're exposing that wide channel by pushing up so quickly on the inside. They're leaving the outside gaps exposed.
Warriors, it wasn't clean, but they have possession through Fagerson. They set up for a funny line out there with Sam Johnson at the front. Brown gets within 1.5 meters. Johnny Gray turned over. Rory Best looks like he had it, but it's Price. Hastings over the top again to Seymour. Stockdale for the intercept. Coming back again. Well, there's a little bit of a scrap under the posts. 6 Ulster players on 1 Glasgow Warrior there.
Go back. Don't need you.
Fraser Brown, the leader there, going in and just saying, get out of here, lads. Look at the scoreboard. We're in a nice position here.
Yeah, I think it was it Callum Gibbons and Rory Best?
Rory Best, yeah, I think he was well outside the ruck. I think Callum Gibbons cleaned him out.
Yeah, okay, off you go.
Rory Best took a bit of an exception too.
Penalty here, so just a penalty. And he's dead. Okay, guys, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, fair enough. Let's go.
Pretty clear communication. Don't know what happened there. I cleaned them out.
There were certainly, the two of them were actually shielded a little bit by the post protector, I think, from George Clancy. Rory Best not looking happy. Taking the scrum.
You don't accumulate 221 Ulster appearances and 117 Ireland caps without being a ruthless competitor, and Rory Best, as captain of this Ulster side, will not be happy at how the scoreboard is looking at this stage. And this is a big moment in this semi-final.
And this is massive, as we said. Ulster don't want to be going into the sheds here at half-time. 3 scores away from this Glasgow team. Should they have probably taken the points to just push that lead ahead? Obviously going for the jugular at this stage will really be writing this match off if they get over for another try.
Well, I think from the initial decision to kick to the corner came, I think you follow it up with the same decision again. Glasgow's so close. Jordan Murphy it was who was penalised for not rolling away, and then obviously there was a bit set to between Best and Gibbons. But I think because the momentum's with Glasgow, they're so close to the line. There's been a change already in the Ulster front row, and it's such a good attacking position. I think it's the right decision this time for Glasgow to try and launch again.
So the 16th man, the Warrior Nation, rise again. Ulster's defence has been very good this season, particularly since January. And there's the scrum that Chris spoke about earlier. Matt Fagerson has it at the base. Oh, he's fumbled it. I thought he had given, John Lacey had given a knock-on against him there, but he's just suggesting it's not steady.
Good scrum from Ulster, really good reply.
Continue, 2 props down on the ground.
And almost, you're right, it did look as if Matt Fagerson was holding it with one hand, and then the only reason it wasn't knocked forwards because it was resting on a player in front of him, but it's another opportunity for Glasgow. Really good scrum from Ulster that last time. Let's see what happens here.
Matt Fagerson at the base, phenomenal in recent weeks. Again, it's messy at the scrum.
Real good bye. Nice, boys. Real good bye.
Yeah. Okay, just stop for a second. I go that side with your problem that side. I go over here, it's the other side. Okay, let's get heights up, and we're going to have AR penalty calls coming in here.
Yeah, it's John Lacey just saying it can't be in 2 places at once, so you rely on your assistant referees. So it's George Clancy on this side that'll help him. Any issues on this side of the scrum, and obviously John Lacey's on the far side as we look at it.
The cunning of front rowers from 30 metres away for the assistant referees. Not easy to unpick.
Set. Advantage.
Cowstain on the charge, direct from the Warriors. As the clock ticks towards half-time, advantage is being played. They're inches away. Johnny Gray at the base. Cummings, his second row partner, latches on. Glasgow, right there. Rob Harley is over. And Harley, in his 211th appearance for the Glasgow Warriors, scores just his 11th try, but he will not have scored any that are more important than that one. His first try this season. And the key man, Rob Harley, has ensured that Glasgow finish this first half and extend their lead.
Well, the ultimate team man scores what's close to an ultimate team try in terms of the hard work, determination, especially from the pack. He gets so low, he drives his legs. After the initial contact comes on, he gets between the two defenders. It's Cooney and Timoney. But I tell you what, his pack and himself had done the hard work before that from the scrum. They managed to retain possession. Some brilliant defence on the line from Ulster, but just couldn't hold out. Rob Harley got there, and it's such an important time to score as well. A third try just before half-time, stretching the lead with a conversion to come. It's almost been the perfect first 40 from Glasgow.
Some question the 3-week break without a game, but all of those questions so far have been answered by the home side. John Lacey's going back to the halfway line. There's a bit of confusion with the clock ticking into the red, but Adam Hastings makes no mistake. He's 4 from 4 this evening, and this is going to be the final play of what has been a dream of a first half for Glasgow Warriors. It's Stuart Hogg who finds touch from the kickoff. A shrill blow of the whistle from John Lacey, and Glasgow Warriors have made their intent clear. They see the final at Celtic Park next week, and they want to be there. Glasgow Warriors lead at half-time, 24 points to 3.
Glasgow Warriors would like to thank our community partner SP Energy Networks for keeping the power flowing for us and their other 3.5 million customers.
Throughout this national crisis, their dedicated teams are keeping you connected and safe.
They're powering our frontline services, our hospitals and our amazing NHS so they can continue to do what they do best, protect us and save lives.
Your electricity network allows you to stay connected to work, talk to your friends and family and enjoy streaming your favourite box sets.
That's why SP Energy Network's expert engineers are working throughout your communities to keep the power flowing through this national emergency. If you see them out and about, it's because the work they're doing is critical.
And if your power does go up, call 105. Their teams are still available 24/7 to help you. Thank you SP Energy Networks. If you can, please stay home and stay safe.
NHS Scotland has created Test and Protect, a new way to tackle coronavirus. The big change is that if you have symptoms, a new persistent cough, high temperature, or loss or change in taste or smell, you should go online and request a test via nhsinform.scot. Or if you can't get online, call 0800 028 2816. If symptoms worsen or last for more than 7 days, call 111. If you've had a positive test, NHS Scotland will confidentially trace who you've had contact with. This is so we can let those people know they may be at risk, request they don't leave their home, and offer them a test if appropriate. Anyone could be asked to stay at home and not go out at all to keep your community and loved ones safe. As we start to go out more, let's all keep doing our bit to beat coronavirus.
Hello and welcome back to Scotstoun Stadium. Determination within the eyes of Rory Bess, the Ulster captain. Oh, what it would have been to be a fly in the wall of that Ulster dressing room, to hear Dan McFarlane's words, rallying the troops alongside his coaches Dwayne Peel, Jared Payne, Aaron Dundon.
In some ways, it should be quite an easy half-time team talk for Dan McFarlane. There's not a huge amount of technical, tactical change, really. It's a roll-up-your-sleeves job, isn't it? Yes, you've got the win behind, but there has to be more, I suppose, hunger in your carriage to go forward other than Henderson and Coetzee. And the others have to follow that, really.
Well, people suggested coming into this game it was a bit of a free hit for Ulster. They had overachieved expectations this season, and perhaps that is more so than ever. But let's talk about other sports, some of the comebacks we've seen in recent weeks. Momentum in sports is a wonderful thing. It's going to be Stuart Hogg to get us underway, with the Warriors playing left to right into the breeze. And much like Billy Burns, he's hung one up straight down the middle, and the Warriors have won it back. They are inside their own half, but not for long, as Hogg is on the ball for the second time in quick succession, having taken the kickoff. Here's Fraser Brown, prominent as a carrier and a leader and defender in that first half. Jamie Batty does well. Ali Price looking up. That one's been charged down by Billy Burns, though. There wasn't a chaser down that blind side, but Price must have seen space in behind. Here's Cooney off the back of the Coetzee carry. Eric O'Sullivan back on after his HIA. Burns, Stockdale looks inside. Ludick, pass it, given forward. Big call from John Lacey. We weren't quite in line with it. We'll see on the replay. But you just see Stockdale there, feels it was an opportunity.
Yeah, that's close enough. It looks, but it looks at first view probably the right decision, but you can see from the replay there, Stockdale's arms are so far in front of his body. It does look like it's come back lateral, but a pretty good start from Ulster in the second half. They need a bit of momentum very, very quickly. They need to get on the scoreboard, and that was almost an opportunity.
Chris, we spoke about Ulster's dressing room at half-time. What would Dave Rennie have said? More of the same, conditions playing a part?
I think it just is, maintain the same intensity. Nothing changes. It's 0-0. You go out and you go again, and you work hard and you get all the detail you got right in the first half. But an initial view of that pass in real time, it looked as if it was slightly forward. That replay, I think it actually looked okay in that replay. So it's disappointing from Ulster's point of view.
Interesting to hear that Ulster actually won the coin toss and elected to play against the wind. So you back your defence in that situation, but Ulster able to expose it so early.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, you see from that replay, actually Ludick reaches behind his body to collect it. It would indicate to me the pass was flat, and an opportunity gone a begging now.
Potentially an argument to allow that to play and go back for a TMO, but John Lacey very clear in his decision. Ulster scrum puts pressure on, but Matt Fagerson almost looked like John Cooney was going to go for a WWF style DDT there, but as it was, Fagerson did well. Good carry from Johnny Gray. Fraser Brown hit hard by Coetzee, and the turnover has come Ulster's way, and now back Glasgow's way. Two rips. John Lacey says play on. Fagerson, Hastings, Johnny Gray.
Leave now.
Price to Hastings, no look pass to Harley. Picked up that score just before half-time, which could prove crucial. There's Matt Fagerson, absolute buzz bomb. 8-on-8 collision with Coetzee. Good line speed by Kieran Treadwell. Oh, John Lacey initially called off your feet, leave it, but he's happy with what Jordy Murphy's done in forcing the turnover. Burns, here's Luke Marshall. We've not seen him on the ball all that much throughout the first 40 minutes. Ludick. Cooney again. Here's O'Sullivan. Murphy He gave Ulster this opportunity at possession. Price is through quickly again on Cooney. I think he's been deemed to knock it on. Ali Price will not be happy with that one.
Ali Price being an absolute pest to Ulster today. He's been involved in everything and doesn't give Cooney a second on the ball to release it there.
You could argue he came in from the side a little bit there. But Ulster have definitely upped their game in this second half so far. There's far more, you know, I suppose, dynamism and fight in the tackle. Ripped a couple of possessions free, but I still think, Paddy, we spoke about it maybe in the Connacht game as well, they're playing a little bit too much in that middle third.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's something that Ulster rely heavily, as you said, on Cooney and his box kicking for exits, and Billy Burns tends to play a lot of rugby between the 10-metre lines. Luke Marshall has stepped in a couple of times in the past few matches to find those wiper kicks into the corner, and sometimes that variety is what this Ulster team needs, just to put the ball behind the opposition.
That's stable. That's what I want. Okay, then we can ref it. Shizzo, let's go. Let's go. Go, Betsy. Go, second. Here we go, Z-men. Crouch. Bind. Set. Get it in. Angle 3 down as well.
This game, and Ulster need to make the most of it now. They need to come away with points early on now in the second half. Get themselves on the scoreboard and give them something to build on.
We mentioned momentum. John Lacey again in to have a word with Fraser Brown in the middle of that front row. It's been scrappy in the scrums this evening. Nick Timoney wins it at the front. Lovely flat ball by Cooney. Chop tackle by Sam Johnson on Jacob Stockdale. Hastings in there too. Henderson, great leg drive. Upright, in contact, but such a physical man. Here's Luke Marshall.
Onside, no.
The Ulster juggernaut starting to crank up a little bit. Treadwell, Timoney. The Warriors fans very keen to make themselves heard in defence. There's Ludick with the carry.
Okay, leave it now, leave it.
Glasgow's defence so far impenetrable in the opening 46 minutes. It's messy at the base there. Callum Gibbons making a real nuisance of himself.
Stay there, thank you.
Ludick running down the big men's channel. Hit hard by Harley and Fagerson. O'Sullivan, a little bit of footwork there. Lovely stuff from the loose head. Direct from McCluskey. Lovely offload to his midfield partner, Luke Marshall. Great understanding there from the midfield duo. As close as Ulster have been in a while. Within 9 metres of the Warriors line. Here's Captain Best. Advantage being played for a tackle off the ball by Scott Cummings. There's an edge in the opening exchanges.
Why are you here? Excuse me, get back, please.
Well, it's that man on your screen. Scott Cummins has been penalised for a tackle off the ball. That's 3 or 4 penalties in a row now against Glasgow to start this second half. Taking the man out as a tackle off the ball. And this time Ulster have decided to go for the scrum. Try and build on that momentum they've got.
As you can see, Best with the carry there, and Cummings coming in, taking out Ross Kane, preventing him from latching on, and yeah, rightful penalty.
Change being made early in this second half. That man there, Dave Shanahan, coming on for John Cooney, who looks to be a little bit uncomfortable in his exit. But Dave Shanahan been outstanding for Ulster this season. 6 tries in the Pro 14, 7 in all competitions. And it's a credit to him in saying that Ulster have coped on the occasions they've been without John Cooney this season. different sort of scrum half.
He is. He reminds you a bit of Paul Marshall, who we could rely on to come off the bench and provide a spark. Shanahan's been the same this season, runs really good supporting lines on his inside. He's come up with a few tries as a result.
Shanahan to Burns. Oh, shot ball to Stockdale. The gate has closed, but Stockdale didn't look to have control of that ball. It's gone forward, and you can see by the reaction of the Glasgow players the importance of that turnover. John Lacey telling everybody to calm down. He's cool as a cucumber.
Well, it's a cracking line, isn't it, from Stockdale? And I think Kyle Stein just sees it at the last minute. He does really well, Kyle Stein, because he doesn't slide off with the pass. It looks as if the ball is going to go to his right, but he manages to keep himself square. And at the last minute, he could just lean inside. I think he gets an arm on the ball and dislodges it as Stockdale runs at space.
How impressed have you been by Kyle Stein? Called in from Scotland Sevens to cover the injury to DTH van der Merwe, and he's slotted in incredibly well to this Warriors side.
He has, and formed a really good partnership there, and a very, very solid, hard-hitting, no-nonsense sort of a player there, and sucking the life a wee bit out of Ulster now. That little bit of momentum just slipping away from them now if they don't come away with some sort of points or pressure.
Sean Reedy, there we see in the 20 jersey, on for Nick Timoney off the bench. He brings experience himself. Reedy, over 100 caps for Ulster. 5th season at the province. Ulster will look to put this Glasgow Warriors scrum under pressure, 5 metres from their line. The Glasgow Warriors' backs are lined up, but I don't necessarily expect them to get this ball. As the power comes on in the front row, Lacey raises his right arm to the air, the penalty given, and much like happened with Ulster in the first half, under pressure, Glasgow will have the opportunity to clear their lines. That man there, Xander Fagerson, getting a big pat on the head for his efforts.
We just talk about momentum, we've mentioned it 2 or 3 times, and Ulster have started the second half better, but there's 2 things there. That little piece of defence where Kyle Stein just managed to dislodge the ball from Jacob Stockdale when the try was almost on, and then following up with a massive scrum, the front 5 delivering a penalty. That's halted Ulster's momentum in this game and wrestled it back for Glasgow's point of view. Big shove, isn't it, on the right-hand side. That's Xander Fagerson keeping his feet and driving forward, winning the penalty.
More changes in the front row as well. This time Eric O'Sullivan is off and replaced again by Andrew Warwick. Tom O'Toole is on the tight head side as well for Ross Kane. There's Ali Price, little shoulder ball to Johnny Gray. Hastings dummies and goes inside. He gets the offload away, does really well under pressure from Tom O'Toole. Price, Hogg. Here's Stein. Good read by Luke Marshall. The ball's a little bit scrappy in that ruck, but hard work from Jamie Batty on Ian Henderson. Big collision again, that time on Matt Fagerson. Price sets himself, looks like he's shaping to put a box down that left touchline with his left foot. Being told to use it. Oh, he used every one of those 5 seconds there. Ball drifting in the breeze. And it's come forward off Michael Lowry into touch. Glasgow get the line out. And these little mini moments within big games like this, so important.
Yeah, very, very accurate. Great hang time on the box kick there. Giving Glasgow the chance to contest in the air and forcing the turnover, the knock-on into touch. And that just eats up more of the clock. And the clock is not Ulster's friend at the moment. And you talked about those small little margins, those small little moments in matches. The 5-metre line out in the first half that went awry for Ulster, and then the knock-on from Stockdale there just killing all Ulster momentum.
So Dan McFarlane, another change. Alan O'Connor is on in the second row for Glasgow. Ollie Keble is on for Jamie Batty. It really is harem scarum stuff. Both coaches understanding the importance of the coming moments. Tommy Seymour looked like,
knock-on advantage.
Yeah, it's just a knock-on. No danger of it being a deliberate knock-on. Step by Warwick.
Okay, advantage over now for the knock-on. Yeah.
Here's Stockdale. He can't get outside. Rob Harley, absolute nuisance. Rob Harley, great tackler. Matt Fagerson strips it. Warriors have it. Ian Henderson stripped on that occasion. It's not often you see that.
Yeah.
Keble, big impact off the bench from the South African. Hogg sees space in behind. Along the floor, Stockdale's done well to cover it, but he's under pressure from Tommy Seymour and Kyle Steyn. Seymour charges it down. Ulster will have the line out, but again, the pressure from this Glasgow defence.
Well, that one's built on defence initially, a really long, sustained period of defence, and then a brilliant piece of play by Matt Fagerson, stripping the ball, and then Stuart Hogg, knowing that Stockdale's going to be on his left foot in that bottom corner, pushes it through. The chase is there. Seymour charged it down, and from defending, Glasgow they're able to switch and just turn and put the pressure on Ulster. And that little bit of attack they had.
Yeah, you have to say Fagerson's outstanding for Glasgow tonight, being a real thorn in Ulster's side.
Play on, play on.
Rory Best was clearly not happy that Ulster had just lost another line out, and he certainly took his frustration out on Ali Price, but the Warriors have it here. There's space on the outside. Hastings shaped for a kick, but chooses to go himself. Ulster have done well to find their defensive shape, but it's the Warriors who are in possession. Cummings, oh, big collision by Kutsia. Keble again. Good carry. Hastings, Johnson with a short goal here. Hogg on the outside, Hogg to Seymour, and Seymour is in for a second score. Glasgow are in for their fourth. Bonus points don't count tonight, but they stretch their lead even further. It's the sixth time that Hogg-Seymour combination has come together for a try this season. Seymour in for his second try of the game.
What a brilliant finish from fullback and Weber combining in the short side. Ulster scrambled really well in defence. That's a killer pass there from Sam Johnson to Stuart Hogg. Look at the pace he puts on the ball. And then you can see he just does the right thing at the right time. Draws in Lowry, gives the ball. Look at the line he hits at the space between the defenders. Poor defence, admittedly in the edge by Ulster. Seymour finishes it off. The Ulster defence, Paddy, are doing different things. Some are coming up, some are sitting back, creating holes, but the Glasgow attackers still have to find them.
Yeah, you've got to defend with what you have inside and outside you, and then Jacob Stockdale deciding to come out of the line, but leaving Tom O'Toole, a tight head prop on his inside all alone. And Stuart Hogg, too much gas on the outside of O'Toole, creates the break and finished well by Seymour. Ulster, again, their own worst enemies, losing the ball from the line out, giving the possession back to Glasgow, and Glasgow just too good and able to exploit.
Oh, the draw of the ball, just taking that one past the left post, but here we go again. Tommy Seymour, rich vein of try-scoring form.
Contrast the movement of the ball and the options that Hastings and Johnson have compared to what Ulster have been doing. There's so many more attacking options. Glasgow think on their feet, they attack space and have that brilliance on the outside to make the right decision and finish off for the fourth try.
Seymour's fifth try in 4 games, his 9th of the season, in 8th in the Pro 14, 9th of the season in all competitions.
Onside.
And Glasgow sitting pretty for that place in the final next Saturday as it stands. They just need to see out the last 23 minutes. What sort of a reaction will we see from Ulster, who have shown significant resolve at points throughout this season, but Glasgow don't look like they're done. Ball kept alive again by Seymour there. Ali Price has been everywhere tonight. Fagerson this time. Hastings, little cheeky dink over the top. Lovely understanding between the Ryan Wilson. Here's Kyle Stein. Kyle Stein as Billy Burns covering. Back inside to Wilson. Back inside to Kyle Stein. And Stein is in. There are Ulster bodies all over the Scotstoun artificial turf. Kyle Stein is not fussed about that. He gets Glasgow Warriors fifth. It looked like they might have butchered it, but they build their score, and Glasgow Warriors are in free flow.
Oh, what a try, what a try. And we talked about in the first half, Glasgow being able to just have such variety in their play. Opting for the chip kick here from Hastings, and there was more 1-2s than a football match in this one. Back and forth, and Kyle Stein eventually, I'll pin the ears back and score it myself, Rob Harley.
It's so many options. You said it in the previous try, there's so many options, but the skill, accuracy and the execution still has to be there. Brilliant piece of skill from Adam Hastings. That would have been called from Stuart Hogg running that inside channel, and then the execution's there. Stuart Hogg carries it on, gets the offload away. Billy Burns really tried hard to buy himself some time, buy Ulster some time to get back and make the cover, but there was so many support running options. DTH van der Merwe, Kyle Stein, Ryan Wilson, and it was Stein who finished it off. Really good score from Glasgow.
And Hastings makes no mistake with the conversion. Here we see it again. Kyle Stein bringing the power, enveloped by some of the replacements warming up in the in-goal area, and perhaps understanding that they have 1 foot in next week's final. Dave Rennie making changes, but there is a big moment for Darren Cave. He equals Andrew Trimbow's record of 229 appearances for the province. As it stands, it looks like he may well sit equal with Trimble forever and a day, as Glasgow are edging their way towards this Guinness Pro 14 final at Celtic Park next Saturday afternoon. 33-point deficit, surely too much for Ulster to close up now. Wilson off the bench, Glasgow's co-captain with Callum Gibbons. That time he's been turned over though. And Adam Hastings.
You speak to me like that again, you go straight to the bin. Is that clear?
Hastings chirping in John Lacey's ear. A rare blot on his copybook this evening.
That's who you want your right half to be. A wee bit cocky, and he's been fantastic tonight. His variety in his game, his kicking game, showing the chip kicks, his wide passing, his short passing, his inside passing.
It's
very, very impressive.
It's physicality as well.
Okay. Time on, captain.
Ulster needs something here. I know they're a long way behind, but doing the simple things and the basics well, getting a good drive set up is really important to come away with the points here.
And here we are, Ulster. Rory Best looks like he's got his hands on it. He's dragged down.
Onside.
Penalty advantage being played. It's open up on the blind side. Marcel Coetzee is over. A try scorer a fortnight to go against Connacht to give Ulster the opportunity at this semi-final. And he is over again. 20 minutes to go. Ulster get their first try of the game, and it goes to that man, Marcel Coetzee.
There's a bit of positive form there from Ulster, which will be probably a wee bit frustrating, as they've shown how dangerous their maul has been throughout the season.
I'll get to halfway and time it off, okay?
Whenever they get the throw right, the jump right, and they get that maul set, it's very, very dangerous and able to go across for the try.
Yeah, their maul, the try they scored here the last time was similar. There's Rob Hearn at the other end of the field from a driving maul. They get that maul moving pretty quickly, but spied the space up the short side, and Coetzee deserves his try for the physicality and the application he's shown tonight. Billy Burns' conversion just drifts to the left of the post. But it's important. It is a long way to go for Ulster, but it's important just to chip away and get something on the board. That man's given the first try of the evening. Shanahan got the call, identified the space. Well finished by Kutsia.
Ali Price is now being replaced there by George Horn. A like-for-like replacement, to absolute live wires. But let's all just pause and take on this moment. Rob Herring coming off the bench, but the man leaving the field in his final appearance for Ulster Rugby. And listen to this Scotstoun crowd. Hairs stand up on your neck there as 10,000 people stand to give Rory Best an apt ovation. That man there, what he has given to Ulster Rugby on and off the field. His job in rugby is not done yet. He has a big autumn ahead of him in Japan. But what a servant he has been to Ulster Rugby.
Absolutely incredible. For the best part of 15 years, he's led Ulster. Even whenever he was first catapulted into the team, you could tell he had great leadership abilities, and that's come through to the national level, and nobody will be hurting more than Rory right now, given Ulster's performance tonight. He certainly thought Ulster were capable of coming over here and giving a better show than they've done tonight, but you have to credit him and all his performance in an Ulster jersey for, as I say, a good 15 years.
Part of that Ulster squad who last won silverware as the Celtic League back in 2006. It's a long time between drinks, but I think a lot of people will toast Rory Best and his contribution to Ulster Rugby this evening.
Yeah, I mean, that moment there was just kind of definition of respect, wasn't it? You're such an amazing career, Rory Best, such a brilliant leader, an influential person, and when you're away from home and 10,000 people rise to their feet, that'll be a special moment for him as well. As you say, he's got a big summer ahead of him. Ulster trying to play at the edge here. Ludic just couldn't take that long pass, but there was space there to attack. But that's the right thing to do. They have to almost, it's not forcing the game, it's just, I suppose, rolling the dice a little bit, but it's the right thing from Ulster to do there.
Yeah, I think it sums up Ulster's performance. They're making decent decisions. The shape of their game's not too bad, but it's that accuracy, that final pass, just not going to hand. The line-out throws going awry. The jumpers not getting their timing right. Small little errors all add up, and whenever you're facing a Glasgow team who are on such good form, they will punish you as they have tonight.
Some quality signings for Ulster for next season. I'll get onto those in a moment. But for now, Glasgow are in possession. Matt Fagerson being told to use it. It's gone through 90, so we will reset. But signings for next season, Paddy. Matt Faddis from the Highlanders, Jack McGrath from Leinster, Sam Carter, a lock from the Brumbies, Gareth Milasinovic from Worcester to bolster that front row. There's some quality signings in amongst those.
There is, and I mean, Ulster, I think the benefit of this season for Ulster has been the nurturing of their academy players and bringing them through and getting them a taste of senior rugby, and they've equipped themselves very well. They just don't have that strength and depth, and those signings will certainly add to that and help Ulsters in their campaign ahead next year.
Yeah, Willie Anderson and Kieran Campbell done a brilliant job with those academy youngsters who have been on fire all season. It's another messy scrum.
Leave it now.
Ulster look to have come up with it. It's Andrew Warwick getting things going. Shanahan looking to bring a bit of fire and pace to this Ulster attack, but once again, the Glasgow's defence putting him under pressure. There's Pete Horn.
Open play.
He came on for Sam Johnson just 5 minutes or so ago, but Ulster get the ball back. The offload going to ground. There's Cave with the fend, playing his final moments
Leave it now.
before retiring at the end of this season. Oh, Reedy does well to gather second time. Hit hard by Johnny Gray. Warriors are in this time though. by the haircut. I think it might be Callum Gibbons. Yes, it is.
Okay, just give me a sec, yeah.
Glasgow Warriors co-captain. Big performance from him tonight as well.
Just back from a long layoff for injury as well. But he's such a nuisance. He's a hard ball carrier. He's hard over the ball. He's a great tackler. He's an all-action number 7. You see 16 turnovers for Ulster tonight. But just too many if you want to launch an attack in the semi-final. And the changes continue to come, Rory. Darcy Ray coming on for Xander Fagerson at the tight head.
And that's important, you know, with being able to change the bench 15-20 minutes out, Chris, with a final coming next week as it looks.
Well, there's 2 or 3 things. If you make it to the final, it keeps everybody fresh, but it also gives every player the belief and the understanding that they've got an opportunity to put a marker down for selection next week. It keeps everybody hungry, and it means the players who come on have to maintain, if not improve, the standards that have been set in the first 60 minutes or so.
John Humphreys in the coaching box there with Dave Rennie. He will move on to pastures new with Wayne Pivac in the Welsh national coaching team next season.
One stop.
He will also be so keen to leave with silverware. It's Horn to Horn! The brothers combine. It's a kiss for the younger brother, dishing up dinner on a plate. The elder brother, Peter, and the Warriors are tearing Ulster to pieces.
Well, this is something we've seen 2 or 3 times before between the brothers. It's obviously been practiced in the back garden. It's from penalty advantage, and George Horn knows that. He gets a call from his older brother, Peter Horn, and I think it's 3 times we've seen this. Twice it's worked now. Once it just failed to be grounded. I think it was in an international. It's such a great attacking weapon. As you see the space in behind that front line, the Ulster defenders want to get off the line, want to put pressure on. Brilliant execution, well finished by Peter Horn. It's just, you know, the softest of touches, and it's so difficult to defend that.
It's incredible skill from the brothers there, and telepathic, as you say. Probably practiced in the back garden for the last 20-odd years, but just having the penalty advantage. And Jacob Stockdale on the blind side. As a blind side, Chris, you'd expect him to be covering that space a bit quicker,
well,
and
that's
not exposing that opportunity.
That's the thing. It's how you defend that. As Hastings at the extras again, it would either be your blindside winger covering over or your scrum half potentially in that second line. But you can see Shanahan putting pressure on George Horn. So it really should be Stockdale covering over.
I think on this occasion you just got to credit the attack and the accuracy of the kick there. He's put it in a position that Ulster can't get their hands on the ball. Only the Glasgow player can. And
that's it. If Stockdale does leave that wing, as you saw in the first half, Ali Price, or you know, George Horn now, as he's on 9, would probably find that space there. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. It's just good heads-up decision-making and execution.
11 wide as well, please.
So both sides now empty their benches. Callum Gibbons and Dietrich van der Merwe both leave the field to rapturous applause. Angus Kernahan, who came in late with Robert Balogun dropping out, looks to be coming on. Jacob Stockdale is giving way to him. Stockdale hasn't had the impact that we have seen from him in either the Irish jersey or particularly in Europe for Ulster tonight. But Glasgow have just been irresistible. Hastings, Matt Fagerson didn't fancy that one after the Hastings fumble.
High tackle. Yeah.
High tackle.
Six.
Given on Tom O'Toole against Rob Harley. Nice footwork from McCloskey. How quiet have Glasgow managed to keep him tonight? Such a destructive carrier. Shanahan again.
Keep playing.
Jordy Murphy, he'll keep going all night. Darren Cave, hit by Ollie Kebble, a significantly bigger man. There's a chip over the top, but that one was well read by Kyle Steyn.
6. High.
Yeah, that was Billy Burns going for the chip over the top there. Stuart Hogg was in a good position and Kyle Steyn dropped back.
High tackle, no advantage.
Interestingly, George Horn's getting treatment on this near side. He's down, I think he's maybe got a finger injury or something, a hand injury. And maybe Billy Burns noticed that because it would be the 9 that's in behind there.
Who's your captain here, Ryan?
From an Ulster point of view, Glasgow's back three have worked very, very well, and Ulster found it very, very hard to find grass, or artificial grass as it is here in Scotland, and find space for their kicking game. The back three working in tandem very, very well. So experienced together. The three have played so many matches together. It's very difficult to find space and find a kicking game that's going to be effective.
Herring to Murphy in the line out. Good maul built by Ulster. They're a proud bunch and they'll keep on fighting. Herring goes for the line and Herring is over. The second try off the back of a maul. That one, the maul kept its shape. Herring gets his 8th try of the season. Puts himself as top of the try scorers. And Ulster's maul is something we've seen all too little of this evening, but effective on that occasion.
Rob Herring scored a hat-trick earlier in the season from 3 driven mauls. Net gain of 5 yards, but he has a knack of getting over from those mauls, and Ulster, as I said, have a very effective maul game. When they get into the 22, they tend to come away with points and unable to create the opportunities to score tries, and when they did in the first half, they weren't accurate with their line out, and I think that's the difference between the two teams. Glasgow are playing with a pace and intensity, but they are so accurate with the ball. They don't cough it up very, very easily, and Ulster, whenever they have gained momentum, just tend to make that odd mistake and give the ball away.
So the 6th try Warriors once again kick off. Ulster will keep on fighting. There's Sean Reedy busting his way out of her first tackle. Burns to McCloskey. He's got Ryan Wilson in front of him, but he tells him to get off. Good front foot ball. Shanahan pulls in defenders. That time was Ollie Kebble jamming in on Shanahan as he put someone into space. Reedy again. He started this from the kickoff.
Outside.
This is good ball from Ulster. Glasgow will be keen to finish with their defence where it's been for the opening 70+ minutes.
6, thank you.
Burns looks up. Hugh Jones involved with Tom Gordon in that tackle. Intensity is still there from the Glasgow Warriors defence. Space on the outside here though. Here's Ludick. Lowry. He's a real danger man, but does well. George Horn that time covering over in the sweeper role. Jordy Murphy, of course, won the Pro 14 with Leinster, as well as the Champions Cup. Loose pass from Burns. Glasgow could be on here if they get the ball moving. Here's Horn, low pass to Stain. Knock on from Glasgow, but the first knock on was from Ulster.
Yeah, again, it's in flashes, in parts, Ulster have looked really quite threatening when they've kept the ball. That man there to the fore could see it, but I think Glasgow's defence is getting a little bit narrow here as they made a lot of changes and trying to find their shape, which allows a bit of space on the outside edge for Ulster. But they've just not clicked. At times they've been quite dangerous in attack, but it just hasn't looked consistent or comfortable really for long enough periods to threaten Glasgow.
Crouch! Bind!
Glasgow stacked the left-hand side of the scrum here with 4 players up that short side.
And there they go. Here's Hastings from Fagerson. Little outside break from Hugh Jones. Did well to stay in play. Hastings again. This fluid Glasgow Warriors attack came into this game having scored 35 tries in their previous 7 games. Look at that pass from Peter Horn. Seymour goes searching for the hat-trick. Stuart Hogg throws his hands in the air on the inside. He thought he was through. Hastings dummies, it goes. He's through. And as if you ever needed to question who would be on the inside, it is the smallest man in the Glasgow Warriors side, George Horn. And he is over for his 9th try in the Pro 14 this season. And what a way to sign off the evening, and that is suggesting that we're done.
Well, there's just so many threats. Look at the options again. A brilliant pass from Peter Horn to Tommy Seymour, who's home his width. And then Glasgow just flooding through the supports there. The line breaks are there. Hastings shows and goes. Again, you can see the disjointed defensive line of Ulster. And that man, George Horn, trailing on the inside, working hard. As soon as he gives the pass, he stays active, he stays in the game, and he gets it back inside from Hastings and try into the sticks.
Yeah, Adam Hastings, he seems to have time on the ball every time he's carrying. As we...
We're without a ball, so...
I thought we were going to, hopefully we weren't going to a TMO there. There didn't look to be anything, so...
It's interesting, though, Adam Hastings invites defenders onto himself so often, doesn't he? Takes collisions, but that time there it opened up.
And also, Ulster have done well at times in shutting off that pass to the outside, but other times have just created a dogleg or a disjointed line. And Adam Hastings is good enough either to put the ball back inside his Paris outside or take the space himself.
He waited for that dog leg to appear. I think Sean Reedy on the outside coming up a bit faster than his inside defender, and just, as you say, holding on to the ball, waiting for the gap to appear, taking the gap, and as every scrum half, supporting on the inside, getting over for the score.
Not in their wildest dreams would Dave Rennie and his coaching team and squad have thought they would have come and scored 50 points against this Ulster side tonight. Semi-final of the Guinness Pro 14. What a statement this is from the side who are going to play the final in their home city, as Ollie Keble motors his way on the charge. And now with the ball in touch, it's probably about time we hear which of the Glasgow squad, I assume, you're going to have picked as man of the match this evening.
Well, there's been so many, hasn't there? Ali Price was so sharp at 9. Tommy Skillmore scored 2 tries. You know, the forwards have been dynamic, but there's one man who's been at the core of it for me all night, and the Guinness man of the match tonight is number 8, Matt Fagerson. He's carried hard, he's hit hard. When the game was close at the start, he was so dynamic, so aggressive. An all-round performance by the 20-year-old number 8.
He's not a big man compared to the Billy Vunipolas of this world, but my goodness, he's explosive, great feet, real ability to create go forward. Ulster want to finish their season with a bang. This time last year, they were playing a European Champions Cup playoff, so they've definitely made big strides under Dan McFarlane. He'll be disappointed with the performance tonight. He understood they needed to increase their accuracy and performance from where it had been, albeit they were in very good form coming into this game. But they've been a clear second best this evening. Marcel Coetzee, a try scorer with the carry. Here's McCloskey. Lovely offload to Ludick. He does brilliantly to get his hands free again and again in contact. Shanahan this time. Lovely pass over the top. Here's Reedy away to Lowry. Lowry with a little pirouette, dancing feet. Lowry is over. And Lowry scores to give the travelling Ulster support, who have stayed around to see the 80th minute come, something to cheer about. A brilliant season from that young man, Michael Lowry, having only picked up his debut back in September. But here's the finish. Great ball from Reedy, and Lowry did the rest.
Yeah, initially started with Shanahan's lovely time pass over the top to find Reedy in the outside space, I think, and sold a nice dummy. And Laurie able to finish well, and some positives to take away from Ulster, and what was an absolutely dominant performance by Glasgow here at Scotstoun tonight.
He still had a lot to do, didn't he? Michael Lowry, a little fullback. He worked hard to support, and then even after that was a pass over the top. Sean Reedy bashed off 1 or 2 would-be tacklers, and then he still had a lot to do. Spins inside, and then even there when a tackle's made, he fights. He has the awareness to reach and score. And as I said before, there's been flashes of that from Ulster tonight, but just not enough on a consistent level to threaten the Warriors.
So the clock ticks into the red. 10,000 fans inside Scotland this evening. For those supporting the Warriors, they've been in for an absolute treat. A scrappy finish to the game. John Lacey blows his final whistle, and cue Bedlam here at Scotstoun. The Warriors now have the opportunity to fight for the #1 prize, the Guinness Pro 14 final at Celtic Park next Saturday. For Ulster, it's not to be. 70 points scored in a semi-final. Not something I feel anybody out in this ground would have predicted this evening. It's been a cracking game, but Glasgow were comfortably the better side.
Absolutely, much of the better side, and credit to Glasgow. They're going to be a tough side to beat next week. To Ulster, you know, two careers coming to an end in an Ulster jersey. Darren Cave signing off today, and Rory Bess, as we've mentioned, a stalwart of Ulster rugby for many a year, playing his last game for Ulster, and not the fitting way they would have liked to have gone out, but Glasgow certainly deserved this victory.
And Chris, Dave Rennie could rarely have dreamt of a semi-final win like that coming into this game. How confident does Glasgow go into the final?
Well, they'll take a lot of confidence, obviously. What was important tonight was a quick start after that 3-week wait. They got that quick start, scored within 2 minutes. And then their application, the physicality, and what more importantly, or more impressively for me, above everything else, was just the decision-making and attack. They make brilliant decisions where to attack, when to attack, found the space, and took the physicality of Ulster away from it because they were running at spaces, not men. Dave Rennie will be delighted.